being self-employed is really, really strange because your life never really starts and your work never really ends. Everything is kind of intertwined together. And I never planned that I was ever going to be self-employed. I always sort of, obviously, if you've seen any of my other videos, I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always wanted to be a musician, but I sort of fell into this whole lifestyle of this self-employed lifestyle, and I never really gave it much thought because I always sort of assumed that what would happen would be I'd go and get a part-time job somewhere, doing something that I didn't really care that much about, like, I don't know, customer service or retail or something, and that writing was going to be the thing that I was going to do. And then once writing became, like, financially, I guess, viable, then I'd be able to just do that. And as it happens, because of my anxiety disorder, my panic disorder, which is going to be the topic for a video, not this Friday, but next Friday, that has something which it's obviously had a really big impact on what I've been able to do and what I've been able to manage. And it's also impacted my career because I've ended up, like, legally, I am self-employed. I've been self-employed legally since 2019, the 2019 tax year. Even though I've been self-publishing since 2018, that's when I legally became self-employed. And yeah, it's really, really weird because I sort of have to run everything myself. I have to decide when I'm going to do stuff, what I'm going to do, because I do work 7 days a week, and I'm sure many other, like, writers, creatives, or people who are self-employed, you know this. Like, I'm working all the time. It's just, so if somebody says, oh yeah, Zarina, you have a lot of free time, it's not so much that I have free time, it's that I'm flexible. So I can pick and choose when I'm going to do things, which I absolutely love. But it is a big challenge because no one is telling me what to do. I don't have anybody to ask to. I don't have to get up in the morning, which is great. I'm not complaining about any of those things. That lifestyle really, really suits me. The whole school, institutional, do this at this time lifestyle never really suited me, and being able to live life on my own terms suits me a lot more. And naturally, I'm a very disciplined person, and obviously if you're self-employed, you have to be incredibly disciplined, which is why it helps if you're doing something which you enjoy a lot. But yeah, it's not easy. So my biggest advice, I guess, for people who are self-employed, and this might be a longer video in the future, is the most important thing is to have a sort of weekly timetable, and don't be afraid to say no to things, because I struggle with that sometimes. Like, if your friends are like, come do this social thing, and you're like, oh, I gotta write, I gotta edit a video, I gotta do this, I gotta shoot a video, it's really, really hard. Sometimes this is what I struggle with, is almost being able to justify my work to people, because most people who are close to you should and will respect your workspace. I do feel this way. I feel that people who know me respect my workspace, but the most important thing is that you have to, because I think if you respect your workspace, and if you respect, I have set aside this time to do this and this day to do this, and you make that very clear, I can't do this because I'm doing this today, then it means that you're actually taking what you're doing seriously and seeing it as work rather than as just something you're just doing. Because what is my main work right now? I make videos and I'm writing this romance series. That's been my main consistent work for a big chunk of this year. And, you know, I am working pretty much every day. I'm doing something, whether it's like for my books, I've got to write them, I've got to proofread them, I've got to order the covers, I've got to send them to one of the 2 women who proofreads my romance novellas, and then I've got to do things like checking my Amazon dashboard, checking things like Story Origin, especially if I've created any group promos, if somebody has joined them. Like, there's so many things that you have to do, and that's just the books. Like, obviously with the videos, you got to shoot the video, you got to edit the video. I mean, these ones aren't edited because these are part of my Zarina's unedited ramble videos, but editing takes a really, really long time, which is why I took a very little short 3-week hiatus from uploading my typical weekly Friday videos, which are edited and usually have text and stuff on them. So yeah, there's all of these things to consider. And yeah, I think the most important thing really is having that discipline, setting aside certain days when you know you're going to do things. And it's so hard. I really appreciate that. I'm still sort of struggling with it because I know in my head, okay, I'm doing this today, and a big struggle which I have is if I put off things during the day, I'll end up doing a bunch of things late at night and then sleeping late and then getting up late, which creates an unhealthy cycle, because it is obviously better for your body to sleep earlier and get up earlier. Not stupidly early, something like, for me, if I was, say, in bed, say, around midnight and getting up around 9, that would be my ideal, because I'd be getting a solid between 8 and 9 hours sleep. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work like that. And yeah, so that's something I'm still adjusting to. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you manage being self-employed if you're a self-employed author, or if you're self-employed of anything. How do you manage your time, and how do you sort of justify it to others as well? Because yeah, like I can say, for example, I'll have in my diary, technically I have something that I can do every single day, but obviously things move around a lot. Like I try and say to people, okay, I'm free weekdays during the evenings and weekends, but sometimes things get waived. So for example, waived is in waived. So for example, sometimes I might be wanting to do something that will be on an afternoon, and then I'll end up working in the evening, or I'll work earlier on in the day. Like things are constantly moving around. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that, because I also try and allow myself like 2 to 3 times per week doing something sociable that involves me, like say going out to meet a friend, or maybe going for a swim or something. I sort of like have it in my head, okay, 2 to 3 times a week is when I'll do that, or maybe have somebody come over and we'll like watch a movie or something. So yeah, because obviously, you know, social time is important, and especially now that the pandemic is hopefully over, at least in the UK, it's good to like interact with people, and it's not good to just work 24/7. It is good to have breaks and to have rest. That is really, really important. I'm a very big advocate of that. So do let me know your thoughts on that, and let me know what you think, or in general, about being self-employed.